For 3 long days, the bus shelter stayed empty. Emily still stopped there every morning. She stood with a paper bag in her hands, staring at the bare concrete where Henry used to sleep. No cardboard, no blanket, no sign he had ever been there at all. She told herself not to panic. People moved around. The city pushed them along. That didn't mean anything bad had happened. But the knot in her chest didn't loosen. On the 4th morning, she left a small note tucked inside the paper bag. "Hope you're okay, Emily." She felt foolish doing it, like she was leaving food for a ghost. That afternoon, she saw him. Henry sat in his old spot, thinner than before, his shoulders slumped, his face drawn tight. For a second, Emily wasn't sure he recognized her. Then his eyes softened. "Miss Emily," he said quietly. She rushed toward him, breathless. "Where were you?" "I checked shelters. I called hospitals. I thought..." "Had a spell," he interrupted gently. "I'm all right now." He wasn't. She saw it in the way his hands shook, in the way his breathing sounded strained. That's when she noticed the scar on the back of his hand, clean, surgical, still healing. "What happened to you?" she asked. "Old wound," Henry said, pulling his sleeve down, acting up. She didn't believe him, but she didn't push. Instead, Henry reached into his jacket and pulled out a sealed envelope. The paper was worn, the writing shaky. "If something happens to me," he said, "I need you to mail this." Emily frowned. "What do you mean, if something happens?" He met her eyes. "Promise me," she hesitated, then nodded. "I promise." 2 weeks later, Henry collapsed. Emily was handing him his coffee when his hands began to shake violently. The thermos slipped from his fingers, hitting the pavement and spilling hot coffee across the ground. "Henry?" she whispered. He tried to speak, but his words came out wrong, slurred, broken. Then his knees buckled. Emily caught him before his head hit the ground. "Someone call 911, she screamed. People stared. One woman pulled out her phone. Others looked away. The ambulance arrived, and Emily climbed inside without asking permission. She held Henry's hand the entire ride, refusing to let go. At the hospital, everything moved too fast. Doctors, machines, voices. Then came the words that made her stomach drop. "He has no ID, no insurance, no emergency contact." They were going to transfer him to the county hospital. Desperate, Emily spoke without thinking. "He's a veteran," she said. "Check the system." They asked for proof. She had none. "He's my uncle," she lied. "Please." A doctor agreed to run the name. And then, everything changed. The screen filled with redacted lines. Blacked out records. Classified service. Henry Wallace. Honorable discharge. The room went quiet. He stayed. Henry survived. Weeks later, he was transferred to a veterans care facility. A real bed, real meals, clean sheets, dignity. Emily visited whenever she could. Henry wrote in a small notebook, filling page after page with names, dates, truths. "My memory's going," he told her, writing down what matters. He gave her the notebook. "I want you to have this." She bought him a warm navy blanket with her first full paycheck. Henry cried. "No one's done this much for me in 20 years, he whispered. In late August, Henry died peacefully in his sleep. The facility called Emily early that morning. She came to collect his belongings. Inside the bag was the blanket, the notebook, and an envelope addressed to her. Inside was a photograph. Henry, decades younger, standing tall in a military uniform. Medals lined his chest. On either side of him stood powerful men faces Emily recognized from the news. On the back, 3 words were written. Remember the girl. At home. Emily opened the envelope Henry had asked her to mail. Inside was a letter. He wrote that he had no family, no money, no legacy, only this. For 6 months, a young woman brought him breakfast, not because she had to, but because she saw him when the world didn't. The system forgot him. She didn't. Henry had been many things, but in the end, what mattered most was simple. Someone remembered him, and that was enough. The end.